Studies have shown that high school students get distracted by how people view them, instead of what's really important.
Everybody, to a certain degree, gets very caught up in how people view them.
Everybody focuses on themselves. They think that we all have a tendency to think about ourselves.
Definitely you have that pressure at schools to be accepted. So you do get caught up in that, trying to look a certain part of the mold. You're always trying to strive to do something else and be someone that you're not.
The average teen's future is still wrapped around themselves because you're always wondering about, what can I get out of the future?
I believe that teens really care about their future, but it's very hard to think about it because often when you start to think about it, you get scared.
Usually when you're thinking about the future, it is very, very caught up in whatever's going on now.
I think surprisingly, some of the teens that I talk to are really focused on their future. The majority, probably statistically and through polls, I'm sure most of them are, focused on themselves. When I was a teenager, I was focused on my school every day and sports and stuff like that. So I think majority of teenagers are probably every day focused on themselves.
According to research, teens spend around 9 hours on social media per day.
I think social media is very relative when it comes to negative and positive effects on teens' lives.
You can go on there hoping to feel better, to see how many likes you get or whatever. But most people, if they were honest, they would say they put their phones down after getting on social media or computer or whatever, and you feel crappier.
Nowadays, people don't usually get together in person as more as they do online, which is in some ways nice, but that in-person interaction is dying off. Clubs are dying off. Things like that, after-school activities, they're not as popular as they used to be.
Facebook, for instance, with the posts, you post something on there, and you keep checking to see how many likes you have, So it's constantly checking to see if you are accepted by other people.
What obstacles stand in the way of teens accepting themselves?
I care a lot about how people view me. I want people to view me as somebody who's kind and polite, and ultimately somebody that you'd want to hang out with. I want to be viewed as somebody who's a genuinely good person.
I personally really struggle with people accepting me in that fear. So I can't say that I've overcome it completely because I think that's almost impossible to do, but the more I focus on my relationship with God and I look for fulfillment in Him instead of other people, it really starts to subside, and it's really easy to just kind of forget when you're focused on pleasing someone who actually can be pleased by what you do.
I think that acceptance is very important, and I think that to a certain extent you should worry about it, but at other extents you can't worry about it.
Just being able to let go of how people are seeing you, being able to understand that we all come from very different backgrounds and we're all going very different places, and encouraging each other through that. If you're so focused on loving every part of someone instead of helping them through stuff, we're all just going to be wandering around aimlessly with no direction and no purpose.
You should strive to be accepted by people that you value and the people that you look up to. You want them to accept you, obviously. You want to be valued by the people that you value.
I think a big thing is to make them realize they have an important role, and it's not necessarily focusing on themselves.